Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 46 of Coffee Talk. My name is Trevor Hooth, and I am joined by Nate Kosher. And we are getting things going a little bit earlier and a little bit quicker, Nate. You got storms coming.
Yes. Uh, First, I would guess of the not winter storms. First of the summer storms, that is,
Winter
that
storms in the summer.
potentially severe thunderstorm, tornadoes. They've been hyping it up, so I hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, it's warmer here, so that good for the storm, I guess.
Yeah, well, make sure you stay safe.
Thank you, Trevor. Will do.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, baseball, that's still a thing. It
That is
keeps
still a
going.
thing.
Lots of games have been canceled over the last few days at all levels. I've been looking, minor leagues, major leagues, lots of games were getting canceled. We've had a lot of rain around the country lately. I can't remember the last time I looked and we had a full slate of games in a day happen.
Well, you know what? There are some fantasy storms also happening.
Well, the point that I was going to make actually with the real life storms is for the fans of Jackson Jobe that are out there, it's actually pushed him back where he's not going to pitch until Wednesday, which is tomorrow when you hear this, when this podcast drops. But that's going to be like a full week or week and a half in between starts for him.
I was wondering what's going on with him because I saw he was supposed to start and then he was pulled. So is it they don't want to send him out in cold weather or bad weather or what?
I don't honestly know what the deal is. Maybe they push it off a day and then they don't want him to have to get loose again. They didn't want to skip Scooble Bump Day. I don't really know. They want to keep
Gets out of
Scooble
the
on
rhythm,
his
I guess.
his rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jackson Jobe's kind of been getting pushed on. Just an interesting little bit of news there. Anyway, fantasy storms brewing. Sure, why not? Going from not in first place in home runs to first place in home runs in for the MLB in one game. It's Eugenio Suarez hitting 4 home runs. News that everybody knows at this point, but still, good game for him.
Yeah, it was. I unfortunately was not watching the game. Epic, epic career game, obviously for Suarez. And the oldest ever to do it, actually, Trevor, at 33 years old. I saw that statistic. I can think of other times in the last 10, 15 years, people have done 4 home runs in a game, but 33 is officially the oldest to ever do it. And uh, also, the Diamondbacks still lost the game.
They did. They did. How much have you looked at the box score from that game? Like
I really,
if I
I
quiz
actually
you, are you going to be
didn't.
able to know the answer?
No, probably not. I just looked at the highlights of his home runs, and then later I checked to see if they won or lost. That's it.
So, 4 home run game. How many RBIs do you think he had?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
7 or 8, maybe.
5.
Only 5. Oh,
5.
interesting.
Yeah, get on base, rest of team.
So solo shots. Yeah, I guess that's
All
how you lose.
all solo shots except for one where there was one runner on base. 4 home runs, 5 RBIs. The math doesn't seem like it should add up, honestly.
No, you could even see 10 RBIs, 9 or 10, at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it really if there's one person on for every home run you hit, you're already up to 8.
Yeah,
All it
exactly.
takes is a little bit
Yeah.
extra.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
he had 5. And then the other thing that I loved from this was looking at his stat line immediately following it, and it's still similar enough now to where it still looks silly. So Eugenio Suarez is hitting 206 at the moment. And this is Monday
Dang.
before. I don't know
I
if the Diamondbacks play today, but this is Monday before what their game would be. He's hitting 206 and he has 10 home runs and 4 doubles. Now, hitting 206, he has 20 total hits, meaning that 14 of his hits are for extra bases and he's hit 6 singles.
Well, last year he started super slow and people were like, "Oh, this is a bad trade. Why did we trade for Suarez?" But he finished the year on fire.
Mhm.
And so he has I mean he has these ups and downs. He is sort of streaky, but I wouldn't be concerned. Basically, he just needs to hit some home runs and play okay defense.
Is 4 enough? No, it's not actually. 4 is not enough. He needs
It
to hit
wasn't
more.
enough. He needed 5. The the other thing I like about him is the Diamondbacks announcing team. When he hits home run, they always say, "We know it's Gino," which
Mhm.
is kind of fun. So I think he's kind of a fan favorite. But yeah, he's not going to probably hit for a high average, and he has these spurts like this.
Maybe not hit for a high average, but
Well,
I
206
mean,
isn't enough. Yeah.
that's right. Like he was 256 last year. He's hit 230. I mean, it's, you just expect a little bit more than 206.
And the other part of your point, I think, is that just getting some base hits that aren't home runs
He actually has one more
would
since
be
the
good.
stat happened. Because when I first talked about it on First Pitch Podcast, it was 19 hits and he hit a single. So the numbers were the same.
Oh,
He
there we
just added
go.
a single to it. So there you go. He's well on the way. Speaking of the best hitter in baseball, Agustin Ramirez.
Yeah. So, talked a lot about this last week, and we both agreed, monitor it may be worth picking up right away, but we thought Quero would be the better of the two. And at least for the first
Nope.
week, we were wrong. Yeah. Did you see in his first game? This is interesting. In his first game, he stole a base, and he Ramirez, that is. He doesn't have great speed, but I went back and looked. Last year, he had a 2020 season across, all levels of that he played at. But he has like a willingness to go for the steal. That's kind of the thing. Like he doesn't have great speed, but I think he has the mindset. I'm gonna go for stolen bases, which that could really help him out in fantasy, especially as a catcher. If you get any steals from your catcher, it's just gravy. So
Yeah.
he, uh, I think you'll see he could maybe approach double-digit steals. And the power's there. He had 2 home runs yesterday. An unbelievable first week. I mean, we should pull up his slash shot
Yeah. I
game.
mean, so while you do that, he is the first player since at least 1901 to have multiple extra base hits in 3 of his first 5 career games.
Jeez.
He is hitting the cover off the ball. He's down from the last time that I looked at his stats. Last time I looked at his stats, he was hitting 600. Now he's only hitting 474.
Here it is. Yeah,
He has
474.
3 home runs, 5 RBIs. I mean, he got off to a tremendous start. And what's really hurting him is his 1 for 4 game, which he followed up with a multi-home run game where a game where he hit 2 home runs. So all 3 of his home runs have come in the last 3 games, and that includes an 0 for 4.
Yeah, and I pulled it up here. So, like you said, he's hitting 474. He's also been caught stealing once. So that's already twice that he's been going for it. He's aggressive, and I think that's going to pay off for fantasy purposes.
Let's see how long he gets that leash to do that. He's also struck out and walked twice, so you're getting good plate discipline too at the moment. Look, here's the thing. Agustin Ramirez is absolutely on fire. Is this who Agustin Ramirez is? I don't think so. I
Probably
stand
not.
by, and I mean, we were wrong before, so maybe we're wrong now, but I doubt that he's a 450 hitter career. Something's going to regress at some point. And I don't know if this means if you invested to sell now. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, maybe you ride it out. Catcher's a hard position to get production from. And that's not to say
Yeah.
that Ramirez won't give you production. He's got good power, and he should be able to provide some level of production. But I am going to die on the hill, or at least remain on the hill for right now and jump off later if I need. That Edgar Quero is going to be a better long-term option than Ramirez, even if you're not getting the power output.
I agree. I think Ramirez is I think he'll be better than other examples we've had of like Reese Hines coming and blowing up, or
Yes.
Kyron Paris, who we talked about a few weeks ago, who they come up, they're really hot, everyone is excited for a couple weeks, and then they hit the inevitable wall,
Mhm.
strikeouts come, they slow down. I don't think Ramirez is going to have a big, huge drop off where he won't be on your roster. I mean, he could probably still be in the top 10 to 15 catchers by the end of the year, but he's obviously not this good, right? And I think he won't be as consistent of a hitter. Now the steals, maybe that evens it out a bit, but yeah, I think that overall hit tool, Quero's probably better in that sense. And like next year, it's probably would be the person you draft if you're looking at, let's say, throughout the rest of the season. We're in next year's draft. He's probably going to be ranked higher.
And that's not to say anything crazy. In his 71 at bats in AAA, he was a 254 hitter. Last year, with 3 different teams in 126 games, he hit 267. So he's not going to be like a destitute average guy, and he will add a good amount of home runs. It's just he's not multiple home runs. This is an amazing hot streak that he's on. That's what we're saying. This is a great hot streak and enjoy it while you can. But obviously, you can't
Yeah.
expect a guy to continue to hit 3 home runs in 3 games and 474 across the course of a season, which feels obvious to say now that we're saying it out loud, Nate.
Well, a lot of the fab dollars though were spent yesterday. I'm sure on both of these guys, and especially after some of the catchers who've had slow starts that we've talked about. 2 shiny new guys coming up. I'm sure a lot of people are trying to jump on that. And maybe this next week you're going to see it, but I would expect he's going to have to slow down. Just
Who's
how the game
your
goes
who's your biggest fab purchase in terms of amount
this
this year,
season.
this season?
That's a good question. I need to pull it up again.
Personally, I spent 40 of my 200 fab dollars on Ben Williamson, third baseman for the Mariners. Um, this was in the 30 teamer, so obviously you need guys like that. I was surprised that Ben Williamson was available. He was actually just dropped 2 days before he got called up, so I put a very large bid out, and I got him, which was helpful because he replaced Nick Maton as my everyday third baseman, which is
That's a good move.
good. Yeah, right? It's been positive, and I'll tell you what, I've been pretty happy. He's out right now. He missed yesterday's game with back spasms, so we'll see what that news turns into tomorrow, but Ben Williamson, in his first 42 at bats, has 1 home run and is hitting 310. I mean, there's room more to be desired. He stole more bases in the minors. He's not walking a whole lot, but still hitting 310 early on and looking pretty good. He's known to be better defensively, which is a good thing in terms of him getting run, on the field.
Okay, here we go. So it had been I need to show them all. Marte,
Noelvi?
Noelvi Marte, yes. After we talked about him last week, I wanted to scoop him up,
Mhm.
but uh, before that, okay, here it is. Jordan Hicks. After that really good first start,
Yeesh.
um, I bid 71. This is $1,000 though,
Yeah.
so
So that's
7
relative,
out of
right?
a
Like
yeah.
I spent almost a quarter of my fab on Ben Williamson. And if you factor in the fact that I traded $10 of fab for Nate Pearson, I'm already about halfway through my fab.
Well, yeah, it's so hard to figure out too because will I get injuries or not? Luke Weaver, I tried for Luke Weaver too. With I think we're going to talk about that, but the opportunity, I don't even know if he'll be that good, but the opportunity now, it's like, oh,
And
let's see what
there
he can do.
is a lot of shaking up where you didn't think there would be shaking up in terms of closers right now. You want to talk about Luke Weaver. Devin Williams has not been good, and so they are putting him in lower leverage situations for the time being. I've also seen that the Guardians are considering doing that with Emmanuel Clase. And so there are just these guys. Trevor Megill has not been great. I'm wondering how long until they remove him from the closer position in Milwaukee. He just gave up a walk-off home run to Nolan Arenado. So there's a lot of shaking up going on in the reliever market right now. There's never a better time to know who Rick Graham is and to bookmark what he does.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, it's so hard to figure out what you should do with closers. I mean, you should never spend huge draft picks or dollars on closers coming into the season, but I mean, it's pretty surprising Devin Williams is failing like that, like how he currently is. Because I mean, this guy, he's got one of the best pitches in baseball, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Only success in Milwaukee, and for the first 2 years, like man, what he wasn't even closing, and it was the situation was always well. Josh Hader left, or if Williams ever gets the opportunity, this guy could be the best closer in baseball. Maybe it was a switch from the NL to the AL. I
Don't
don't
know what
know.
it is, but there's something going on with him. Um, and again, there's something
Maybe
going on
he's
with
hurt.
a lot of the closers. I mean, Edwin Diaz looks like he's starting to figure it out, maybe, but he was struggling for a minute there. I mean, it's a fickle position to begin with, and
It
these
is.
guys who you thought were not as volatile are being volatile, which just is a good reminder year that hey, you don't know what you're talking about with closers, and no one does. You know who might get the opportunities, but you don't know. You just don't know. That's why I like saves holds leagues. If you
Yeah,
spend big on a closer, you could still make it up in terms of finding guys who are getting holds. I mean, that's mostly. I mean, I
I
have
agree.
Miguel in my 30 teamer, but I'm living off of holds at this point.
Well, and the holds is easier because then you could get someone who may get a who may have a chance with save opportunities. Maybe they'll get 5 to 10 over the course of the year, but then their holds are more predictable. You know,
Yeah.
setting up the closer.
Hmm.
Um, Another one though, Trevor, that I'm worried about is my team, Justin Martinez. I don't know if you
Hmm.
saw, he was unavailable because of arm fatigue, and so they skipped over him, and they've been having other people try to close and come. And they actually called up Dre Jameson, if you remember Dre Jameson
Yep.
from a couple years ago. But anyways, Martinez arm fatigue. He did get a save yesterday, but he was shaky and his velocity was down. So he's such a hard thrower. I don't want this to happen, but I could see where this is going toward a major issue. I
It's
hope it's
possible.
not, but yeah, the arm fatigue, the lower velo, you do not like to see it, and I'm worried, real life and fantasy wise. I mean, I don't think he was thought of as the standalone closer in Arizona, but he gets a lot of strikeouts. It's someone you would be rostering, and something's up with him as well.
This is a thing that happening with Emiliano Teodo in Texas right now, a prospect who's was thought to be maybe a reliever this year, or they were trying to work him as a starter. But yeah, this arm fatigue happens. Um, when I shrugged you off at first, I thought you meant his performance. I didn't really realize. Like I thought he had a couple bad outings. I didn't realize this was injury related thing. That is more
Yeah,
worrisome for sure.
yeah, it seems like something's up. And like I said, at first they just said arm fatigue. They kept him out of the series for a few days when he normally would be pitching.
Hmm.
And then yesterday he looked shaky. He got the save, but looked shaky. Um,
Well,
so we'll see.
sometimes that's how it goes. Maybe just a few days off will help him. Just get the arm rested.
I'm
I feel like
hoping
he's
so.
thrown a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like he's thrown frequently over the course of the season.
He was someone where last year, um, I wouldn't be surprised if last year was the most he has ever pitched, because he got more opportunities toward the end of the season, and then with this off season and coming into this year, more was expected out of him. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're onto something there, and it's just
Well, I
more
mean,
workload.
even this year, he pitched March 29th and 30th, and then he pitched April 1st, then April 4th, got a long break till April 8th, and then he pitched on the 13th, the 16th, the 17th, got a break until the 23rd, and then the 26th, 27th. I mean, I feel like that may be a normal workload, but then, he's been good, so you want to use him. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
they're trying to. Yeah, that's the balance.
So I don't know. Speaking of balance, we're going to balance our conversation out with something else right now. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more baseball. We appreciate you joining us. Quick time out here on Coffee Talk, part of the Pitcher List Podcast Network. And welcome back to Coffee Talk on the Pitcher List Podcast Network. My name is Trevor Hooth. I'm joined by Nate Kosher. We've talked some catchers. We've talked some relievers. One thing we didn't get to talk about, Nate, you mentioned that you spent a lot of money on Noelvi Marte. Seems like a good
Yes.
thing to have done because he's still hitting the cover off the ball.
Yeah, he is. He's a machine, and he's been hot the last the last week and a half or so. He's been on fire, and he was someone who kind of a post-hype sleeper because he was suspended for so long and
And
hurt.
played
But
horribly, and then just bad. He wasn't good.
yeah, he was bad when he came back last season. When he debuted 2 years ago, he looked good. But anyways, I think it's real. I would pick him up in practically every league at this point. He is hitting 364, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 4 steals. He's got speed and home runs, both power. He's playing well. I would take a hard look at him. He's not quite a coffee talk guy, but he's still young. He's only 23 years old.
Yeah.
So
maybe he started the year as a Coffee Talk guy, but is playing his way out of the podcast,
yeah,
which
there you go.
is very rude. We need guys to talk about. But either way, we could transition to a more Coffee Talk guy, to much to the chagrin of my fantasy teams, because I'm a huge fan of Logan Gilbert, and I have him everywhere. Logan Gilbert has hit the IL with a flexor strain in his right arm, and corresponding move for that is that Logan Evans seems to be the guy that the Mariners want to join their rotation, at least short term, in order to fill that spot. And he debuted. It was his MLB debut, through 5 innings, 2 earned runs. He did allow a home run. He walked 3 and struck out 3. So kind of a mixed bag performance for Logan Evans, but wasn't all bad.
Somehow I missed the Gilbert news. I hadn't heard
Oh,
that yet.
we're breaking news on this podcast now to Nate.
I
Yeah,
had a busy
Logan
weekend
Gilbert's
with
on the 15-day IL with a right flexor
shoot.
strain.
Yeah, many kids activities this weekend, so I missed that, but that's too bad.
It is
The
too bad.
Mariners,
He's
yeah,
been phenomenal.
they have we've talked about this before too, the potential for a great, really strong rotation, but this stuff happens to pitchers. Yeah.
So Logan Evans, just throw him out there. He's got a 6-pitch mix. He seemed like he's riding around that 20 or 92, 93 range. Again, didn't strike out too many. 3 strikeouts in 5 innings. Also walked 3, but was able to work around it. So I mean, if he's got good stuff, he should be able to be a decent guy. I don't know. Obviously you didn't see him pitch, Nate, but do you have any
Right.
thoughts about Logan Evans? I'm sure you've been looking him up as I've been talking.
Yeah, I have been. Well, I don't know if you thought of this. It's funny that they replaced a Logan with a Logan just because of the name. That's kind of humorous, but I think probably someone I would watch for maybe streaming. I'm not thinking you need to pick them up immediately. Do you think
Well,
you'd pick them
here's
up right away, or
something.
what? How are you feeling?
I don't know. Here's something that I had not seen before. So there's a tweet from somebody named Daniel Kramer, or at D Kramer on Twitter. Does Mariners coverage for MLB.com. Obviously, that's a known name. Just I'm not in Mariners coverage world all the time. He
Yeah,
said
right.
that the first strikeouts for Logan Evans' career come on a curveball to Kyle Stowers that was 82.9 miles an hour and 3,155 RPMs. And the second one came on a fastball to Matt Mervis, which was 94.9 and was just over 2,100 RPM. So with that new information, yes, I would pick him up. I think he'll figure something out. His average might have been around 92, 93, but if he can touch 95 when he needs, if he has a big breaking ball like that, that's also definitely something that's useful. So, I do think
Oh,
actually knowing that now, I'm
yeah,
like, I think, yeah, jump in, let him figure it out.
that is good intel. I was trying to see how big of guy he is. Oh, okay, he's listed at 6'4", 215. Because sometimes with these pitch mixes and their fastball, when you hear, it tops out at X, or it's not
Mhm.
99 100, and you think, well, I don't know about that. But if they're taller and bigger and have longer arms, then it can be deceiving the release point, and it can make it seem like it's coming faster. So that's what I was trying to see. 6'4", 215. It's pretty good size. So all right, maybe you've convinced me.
Pretty good size being
Pretty good
6'4",
size.
215.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he's not Randy Johnson talking about the Mariners, but yeah, that's
yeah,
solid.
he's not 6'10", but 6'4" will do. Coming from somebody who's 5'11" on his best day. That's me, not Nate. I don't know how tall Nate is.
I'm about 6'2", actually, but was terrible at baseball.
All right, so to you, he doesn't seem that big. Me being
Yeah,
my
I guess not.
5'11" self, 6'4" is pretty big. All right, all right. Let's move on from Logan Evans. Let's go to my Tigers, Zack McKinstry, the man who can play a bunch of different positions, multi-position eligibility, having just a phenomenal start to his year. I don't know if you've seen that, but after hitting
Yes.
215 in 118 games last year, he's up to 321 so far this year. And he's walking a lot more, 15%. That's more than double what he did last year. He's striking out about the same. But he's just doing so much better. He's already worth 1.3 F4, which is surpassed the 1.1 that he was worth all of last year.
Yeah, I have been following him. I put a bid in to pick him up. He was just on the waiver wire, so I'm waiting to see if I get him or not in one of my other free Yahoo leagues.
Hmm.
Just, playing it for fun. But also, he already has 3 triples this year, which is kind of an odd stat. Last year, in 118 games, he had 5 triples. This year, in 26 games, he has 3 triples. So he's obviously hitting the ball hard, and good things are happening for him. And like we said before, I would just pick him up almost just because he can play so many positions. I mean, you can, on an off day, you can plug him in practically anywhere
Hmm.
into your starting lineup.
Well, and that helps keep him in this lineup where things might just start. You might start get shaken up once some guys come back. I mean, at the moment they have Javier Baez playing center field regularly. So you're looking at, Trey Sweeney at short, Jace Young getting reps at third. You're going to have to figure out what to do with Zack McKinstry, who right now is your right fielder. But at some point, I mean, you want Justin Henry Malloy to get reps. You want Colt Keith to continue to get reps. Um, and then at some point you get Parker Meadows back. At some point you get Matt Vierling back. At some
Oh
point you
man, I
get
forgot
Wencio
about
Perez
Parker.
back.
I forgot about Parker Meadows.
And it's not necessarily soon for any of those last few outside of Margot, but at some point they're going to come back. And if Zack McKinstry's hitting like this, the fact that he can play a lot of positions is going to be nothing but helpful in terms of him continuing to get playing time.
Yeah, that's a great point. Tigers are doing well,
Mhm.
so they want to keep doing well, and they're gonna put the bats in that lineup that are hot. Yeah, I would definitely pick him up. I don't know what to
I,
do with Baez though. Do you
I,
think? I mean, he's not the long-term answer there.
no, but he's also been doing really well. I don't know if you've been following, but Javier Baez
I have not.
is
He's doing
strike.
better this year.
He is. He's hitting 301 as of right now. Still no home runs, one steal. I mean, he's not doing much for fantasy, but he's hitting 301. He's walking a little bit more at this point. But I mean, the big thing is he's getting bat to ball, which is not something that he's done or recently. It's been different,
Oh yeah,
and
that's good news.
he's actually been playing a really a pretty good center field, making some good plays out there too,
Hmm.
which is I don't know. This is good to see from Javi Baez. Not good for my worst ball team where I took him in the first round, thinking that I had something there.
He's a lock.
But
Yeah.
oh, my gosh, I watched 2 years of Javi Baez Tigers baseball and think, oh yeah, man, this. I'm sorry, 4 years. It's been 4 years or 3 years. Sorry, 3 years of Javi Baez Detroit Tigers baseball, thinking, oh man, this is a good pick for my worst ball team. Nope, which is good for me. I mean, which is good because I like the Tigers win, but
Yeah.
bad. My worst ball team's not doing great. I'm pretty sure.
Good in real life. Well, I didn't know that about. I knew they were tinkering with him in the outfield. I didn't know how he was doing.
Yeah, and it's been by all accounts he's been just putting the bat on the ball more. Nothing else has really changed that much, but you know he's doing okay. You want to see a little bit more power, but he's hitting the ball. That's about all you can ask for from him. All right, so another injury to talk about here, really quick. Tyler Glasnow, another
Hmm.
shoulder thing for him. So, if you roster Tyler Glasnow, what are you doing, Nate, to navigate this situation?
Yeah, I mean, he's someone even going into this season, I'd be a little, leery of drafting or owning just because of his injury history. I would say at this point, I'm trying to move him off as quickly as possible and just see what you can get back. He, unfortunately continues to get injuries. I saw something. I read a story about how really all that matters is him being healthy for the postseason.
Hmm.
Obviously, with the Dodgers being so good, so they're not going to rush him back. They don't have really a reason to with all the arms that they do have. So I, I'm not waiting around with him. I think I would try to move him and see what you can get back, maybe before there's worse news with the injury.
I did that this off season. Fun fact.
Yeah, smart decision. I mean, he's a great pitcher, but if you look at his
Phenomenal pitcher.
innings pitched, it's yeah, he just never gets there.
I think he changed his arm path to try to be healthier on his elbow, and now it's his shoulder. So he just
It's too bad.
can't stay
Yeah,
healthy, which is unfortunate because he is, I mean, just talent wise, he's one of the best pitchers in the game, and I don't think there's much to argue there. But can't stay healthy. Speaking of trades that we make in fantasy baseball, Nate, for the sake of time, you have a big one. We teased the Spencer Strider trade.
yes,
That's going to be coming up after our next break. I made two trades that I want to get into now for Defend Yourself. That way we can just focus on this massive Spencer Strider trade that you made.
perfect. Another cliffhanger. Let's cliffhang it a little longer.
So I made two trades. The first one that I will bring up is, I mean, it's more of a dynasty trade than anything else, but I traded Red Sox prospect Franklin Arias, who 20 minutes after I trade him was promoted to high A as a 19-year-old. Fun fact about that. But I traded Franklin Arias and I traded Tigers pitcher Jaden Ham, again, prospect. And in return, I got Braylon Antunez, who was one of the Brewers' top IFA signings in 2025.
Okay.
And I got Victor Robles, who is good news on his injury is that it seems like he's going to avoid surgery, at least right now. They took imaging recently over the weekend, and that's what it looks like is it's healing well, so he'll avoid surgery. But even then, he's still not back until after the All-Star break. So reasoning for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good team. I need speed. I have absolutely no speed. That's what Victor Robles has. So assuming that nothing crazy happens to my lineup in this moment, I will continue being a borderline playoff team. I'm top 5 in my division right now. We have AL, NL. I'm top 5 in the NL at the moment, and have been for most of the season, all the season actually. And then I get speed back eventually, and I know that's a risk with him. Is he going to, come back? Getting Antunez was just because I need to keep organization counts, and the Brewers have been pretty good with IFA signings lately, so I thought that's a pretty decent kicker.
Hmm.
Um, and then I traded, Franklin Arias is a really good prospect. He has a fantastic hit tool. You don't know if he's going to grow into power, and he has a little bit of speed. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to take that risk, I might as well wait just until after the All-Star break then for a prospect who's 19 in low A, which now high A. And again, he's a phenomenal prospect. I'm a big fan of Franklin Arias. He's one of the players I got back for Tyler Glasnow. Um, and Jaden Ham is a decent pitcher with reliever risk, but that's why I
Sure.
got Robles.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because I was offered Robles a few weeks ago and I turned it down because of the injury. But
Right.
digging into his numbers, he was pretty good last year.
I mean,
Um,
he's hitting 273 before he got hurt.
yeah, if you look at the end of 2023, 36 games in the bigs with the Nationals, he hit 299 with a 385 on base percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 91 games, um, mostly with Seattle, but he hit 307 with a 381 on base, 34 steals. I don't think you're going to get much power, but yeah, like you said, the steals are there. I think he's finally figured it out.
Yeah,
He was a hyped prospect way back when,
he was.
and
And there's no IL limits. I can just keep as many people on the IL as I want in this league. So I mean, it just kind of, I don't know, maybe not the smartest use of a good prospect like Arias, but it got me some speed, and he's only 27 years old, so I
I
have him
kind
for a
of
few years.
yeah, I kind of like it after seeing his more recent. What it's too bad he got hurt, but I think maybe he figured out at least he's going to be an average everyday player. He's not going to be a superstar, but
Mm-hmm.
he could stick around, and you never know if the prospects are going to develop. So
All right, and then my other trade. This one's more fun and more relevant to coffee talk and redraft leagues, even though it happened in a dynasty league.
yes,
Logan Gilbert goes down. I just go, hey, what do you like? I don't want to trade Hayden Birdsong. I love Hayden Birdsong too much, but what can I trade you to get Nathan Eovaldi? And so what the trade ended up being was I got Sean Murphy and Nathan Eovaldi, and I traded away Yanni or Diaz.
someone we've talked about, and the worry meter growing on him, week to week. Um, but yeah, I like this one too. Sean Murphy he'll be okay, but with you're looking at the pitching help, and you're looking at sending Diaz out while he still has some value. So I am for that trade. You also mentioned you have Edgar Quero in this league,
Yes, I do.
right? So yeah, I think that makes it a lot easier to part ways with Diaz. I saw he actually finally hit a home run yesterday, but he's only hit 169 and has really been struggling. So I think it's obviously the other person is buy low with him, but I don't know. He hasn't looked the same thus far. So Nathan Eovaldi's a pretty good pitcher.
Well, on the day I made the trade, Sean Murphy hit a home run, so I'm feeling pretty good about that one.
There you go. Yeah,
Um,
it's good val. I think you got good value back.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that one. I hate losing Diaz, especially, in a league where I'm set up with a lot of young talent going forward. But with Gilbert going out, I wanted to stay competitive, and I was able to get Eovaldi. And now hopefully it's a short stint, 15-day stint. He's true to that. And Logan Gilbert comes back, and now my team is immensely better. Um,
For sure.
so that's what I was thinking. What I'm thinking now, Nate, is that we're gonna take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're gonna talk Spencer Strider and that
Yes,
trade that you made. He's shown it to me. I love the trade all around. And again, it looks different because Spencer Strider can't stay healthy either, as of lately. So certainly interesting. If you've been waiting for it, it's finally time. Almost. We're getting there. We're gonna take a quick break, and then it's Spencer Strider trade time on Coffee Talk, part of the Pitcherless Podcast Network. And welcome back to Coffee Talk on the Pitcherless Podcast Network. My name is Trevor Hooth, Nate Kosher with me, and we played Defend Yourself with some of the weird trades that I've been making lately. I make weird decisions in fantasy baseball, and I love it. But this segment is not about me. This segment is about Mr. Nate Kosher and the Spencer Strider trade that he made recently.
yes. So I started out pretty cold in this league, and decided I'm just gonna sell off assets and try to get prospects, young talent back, and just kind of wave the white flag. So someone that has wanted Strider since the end of last year, actually, I can go back and look at the trades that this person sent me. I declined it in December, but then I put Strider on the block recently. The first offer that I received, so was sent this trade offer, actually involved Logan Evans, which is funny. So it was Jesus Mate, Logan Evans, Noah Schultz, your favorite, and Thomas White. Does he go by Tommy? I might be thinking of a different player. I don't know.
Thomas White.
Thomas White. Okay. So
You're thinking of a Tommy Tanks, third baseman with the Athletics.
that must be who I'm thinking of. Yeah, you're right. So I declined that because I was hoping to get another offensive player. So like two good pitchers, two good hitters, prospects. So I sent a counter offer back, threw Kobe Mayo in the mix. So I got Noah Schultz, Thomas White, Jesus Mate, who's super well thought of already. He's only 17 years old. But then Kobe Mayo, who I still believe in, and I think he's going to get a chance someday. And so I thought maybe I could get Mayo from him. So the other guy accepted the trade. So I get 4 high quality prospects back. I mean, at one time, I think Noah Schultz could end up being the top pitching prospect. Mate, if he continues to ascend, could be top 10 prospect. So I was very happy with the deal. I think you agreed. And also after the trade went down, Strider was hurt again. So I think it's a win.
You're thinking too low with Mate.
You think so? I mean, I've
he
read
is.
good things about him.
So have you looked up his stats thus far this year? He is
I didn't.
a teenager. He is 17 years old, playing in low A. He will turn 18 in very soon, but he is 17 years old currently, hitting 283 with 2 home runs, which one of them is an opposite field grand slam, and 6 stolen bases. Has an 11% walk rate and a 21% strikeout rate. That is him in
Dang.
low A as a 17-year-old. This guy is on his way to being baseball's best prospect by the end of this year. He is going to be absolutely insane. And on top of that, you got, outside of Jackson Jobe, my favorite pitching prospect in Noah Schultz. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, you got Thomas White, who is one of my other favorite. I did not think much of him until I wrote the Marlins top 20 for Fantrax, and now I am as far in on Thomas White as you can get. I am a huge fan of Thomas White. I think he's going to be a really good pitcher. Not to the level of Noah Schultz, but I think he is not. He's pretty close. He's still a top 100 type prospect pitcher at this point, and even higher than that maybe. And on top of that, you got Kobe Mayo, who still entered the year as a top 25 prospect, and people got scared because he struggled in spring training and he started slow in AAA this year. I don't know how he's doing now, but even if that's your throw-in, I mean, you nailed the trade. You nailed the trade. This is exactly what you want. So
Thank you, Trevor.
Behind the scenes, Nate texted me that first offer. He texted me a couple offers, and one of my biggest questions is, who is your impact player? If you're trading an impact player, you want to get an impact player. I felt like I failed when I traded Glasnow. I didn't get my impact player, to be honest. I accepted a bunch of eyewash and nuts and bolts, and I felt like I haven't done great on that trade since. But if you're going to trade an impact player like Spencer Strider, you need to get somebody back who you think is your impact player. You have 2, if not 3, potentially 4 impact players that you just got back. I mean, that is a revitalization of a bad team type trade right there. Because you have Mate, who you have to wait on, but he looks every bit the part of being a superstar at the big league level. you have Schultz, who, he's kind of been up and down in Double A so far this year, but he looks every bit the part of being a really good pitcher at the big league level. Tommy White looks like he has that ability, and Kobe Mayo is close and hopefully finds his opportunity to show what he is at the big league level soon. And even if he fails, you still have the other three who look really good. So this is better.
He was.
This was better than good, in my opinion.
Thank you. Well, I feel great. I did undersell Mate. I mean, I had read some hype about him, but I just went and looked, and yeah, he's a definite stud. And
did you see his opposite field home run?
Yes. He's 17. 17 years old.
Yeah. He turns 18 on what, May 8th. So he's almost there, but he's not there yet.
Close. And if we're just going off MLB prospect rankings, which I know you like.
I go off Hooth prospect rankings, which are different and usually worse.
You put your own together. I usually default just to MLB, but
you should see the guys I'm picking up in my 30 team, or you never heard of them.
Mate's number 2 Brewers prospect. Schultz is the number 1 White Sox prospect.
Mate is the number 1 Brewers prospect.
Thomas White is number 1 Marlins prospect, and Mayo is still listed at number 2 for the Orioles. So
who do they have at 1 over Mate?
over Mate. I was going to say Basallo.
Basallo over Mayo makes sense. I'd buy that.
Oh, Jefferson Quero. Interesting.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, these are subjective, and there's no wrong answer, but that feels incorrect.
Well,
and they put a whole lot of work in. I'm not demeaning their work. That was for humor effect, but Mate's top prospect for sure.
And not to toot my own horn more, but I think this was probably one of the best trades I pulled off, and I could not have gotten more value back, I don't think, for Strider.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a great trade. And I'm going to send you a video of somebody that I just picked up, just so you know how wild my rankings get and how deep I look at players. Ivan Brethauer with the Cubs. That's my guy recently. I have
no idea who that
anyway,
is.
I'll send you a video of him and you'll see. But anyway, that was a phenomenal trade, worth waiting on, hopefully, for those of our dedicated listeners who were hanging on that cliff all week. We made them wait all week, Nate.
We did.
For now, we appreciate you listening to Coffee Talk. We're going to get Nate out of here before these storms start so he can, hunker down, be ready, and get through them. But
yes.
Nate, it was great to talk to you again, and we will be back next week with more Coffee Talk, part of the Pitcher List Podcast Network.